Here are my top D&D items that I own. They're not all useful, but they are my favorites. Kind of like you. Hey. Quest Giver's Guide here, and I dug through my collection to bring you my top 10 favorite D&D items that I own. I'm not ranking these by price, popularity, or how essential they are. This is just a list of things that I consistently grab for when I'm playing the game, whether that's for necessity, organization, table feel, or immersion. Now, starting with number 10 on the list, this item is simple, but ends up at every session. My dice tray. Now, if you've played D&D more than once, you probably know what this is and what the purpose is, but it just keeps the table organized and keeps dice from flying everywhere. This one just got recently added to the collection from a video that I just posted where I open random D&D mystery boxes, so make sure you go check it out. On it, it has my name, Quest Giver's Guide, along with my role, Dungeon Master. I always use a dice tray at my table, and I prefer that my players do as well, but they're not required. It just all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. The next item on my list was something that was recently added to the collection, and I'm addicted to the secondary purpose of it. Now, before you make any comments, this is a dragon's egg, not an artichoke. But it does have another purpose besides just spinning for a very, 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 very long time. If you open it up, it's got a full set of dice inside. Now, these dice, I would say, are a little less than practical. They are very cool looking and they are fun to roll, but I think I would prefer a regular set of dice over them. It's definitely more of a novelty dice set, and for example, when you get up to like the D20, it gets a little bit difficult to read, but regardless, it's my favorite because they look cool and that's just fun to do. If you want to see a poster short on what dice I use in my collection the most often, let me know in the comments. Number 8 is something that I wish I had in real life, and that is health potions. Health potions. Health potions. The main reason why I own these is really just for immersion. You can give it to your player if they have a health potion in their inventory, and instead of just rolling some dice into their dice tray, they can pop the cork on it, roll them out on the table, and it just adds a little bit more fun factor. Anytime I can get something to give to my players to give more table feel or a sense of immersion, I find money well spent. There's so many different versions that you can get of this though. This one I got out of that mystery box video that I was mentioning before. This one I think I got off Amazon. And then this one is a collection of a whole bunch of different kind of health potions. And if you're creative, you can actually make these from things that you just find at your local store. This next one is my favorite mini to bust out onto the table. And while I don't get to use it as much as I would like to, I love the look on my players' faces when I bring out the Adult Red Dragon Mini. This is the first large mini that I ever purchased, so it holds a special place in my heart, which I think also plays a factor into why it's one of my favorites. If you know me, I love using maps and minis to add immersion to my game. I just feel like it adds a whole nother layer and just get the players locked into what they want to do. And gets them more excited when it comes their turn, or they see a new map on the table or a new mini on the table. It just adds to an overall table feel. Also, this mini looks sick and it's built very well. You can actually check it out in a live play video that I did, which is also on my YouTube channel. Now, I hate reading, and my wife makes fun of me because the only books that I'm willing to read is the Bible and D&D books. And my favorite D&D book is... Ew, no, get it out of here. Get it out of here. I'm just kidding. Curse of Strahd is a good book. Don't harass me in the comments. Now for my actual favorite book. Now, I only added adventure books in this collection because I feel like if I did source books, there's a ton out there and there's a ton that are my favorites. Let me know if you want to see something deeper into that, but this one holds a special place in my heart. Called The Netherdeep is an official D&D adventure book released by Wizards of the Coast in partner with Critical Role. And the reason why this is one of my favorites is because it's actually one of the first long campaigns that I ever ran. It lasted about 3 years and it was 50% homebrew, 50% adventure book, and the memories I created with that group were unforgettable. It was all the times that they tested my patience that I still have nightmares about. The next item is not flashy by any means, but it does hold a special place in my heart because it was my first ever dice tower. I remember being so excited to open this package. I believe I got it off of Etsy, but I was so pumped to bring it to the table to show my players. I've got a few now, but the reason why I use dice towers at the table is because of the suspense it can add when making important rolls. There's no better feeling when you slap the dice tray into the middle of the table, you tell the players exactly what DC they need to hit, and then they all roll into the tower. Some of my best D&D memories have actually come from this specific scenario. They're not required, but as a DM, I would recommend getting one, and you can get them pretty inexpensive, especially if you pick up one like this that was just 3D printed. The next item is the biggest lifesaver on this list. This is my DM bag, and I bring it with me every single time I DM. The reason why I have a DM bag is because most of the time when I DM, I'm mobile. And this carries probably about 90% of everything that I need, and the last 10% are things that wouldn't fit in a backpack. And while it carries a bunch of useful and really cool items, for the purposes of this list, I'm just talking about the bag. It has saved my back and me from a lot of headaches many times. I do have a video out where I break down everything in this bag, but it has changed a little bit, so if you want to see an updated version, let me know. But let's move on to the next item. These are my inspiration coins, and my players love using them. This falls into the same category as the health potions. It's just something physical that you can give to your players to represent something in the game. Each one of my players gets these, and it's just as simple as it's a physical tracker for if you have inspiration or you don't have inspiration. Now, how I run inspiration at my table is a little bit different than how other people run inspiration, but I'm planning on making a video about that, so stay tuned. But now let's look at an item that is my second favorite in my collection. This is my DM screen, and I think it falls into the same category as my dice tray. It's an item that isn't required to play the game, but I think you're better off if you use one. Mine was custom built a few years back, and I have used it every single session that I've ran. It keeps the players from seeing what you're doing behind the scenes, and it makes it more exciting for them. And I have heard the argument for people that don't like to use them, and by any means, do what's best for your table. I just think it helps overall gameplay. Now, I'm sure you've realized that a lot of my favorite items are my favorite either because it adds immersion for the players or because it helps overall gameplay. And my favorite item does just that. Now, it's not in my hands because it's actually the display that I use for showing all of my maps at the table, and it stays on the table where I play D&D. I recently had the chance to upgrade it, and you guessed it, it adds so much table feel and immersion to the gameplay. It makes combat so much more exciting, and when it comes to out of combat, I like showing world maps, the town map, or maybe just a simple reference image. And you don't even need to get something as fancy as this. You could easily go down to your local pawn shop or look on Facebook and find a TV that you can just lay flat on your table to display your maps. And while I've always used a TV table to display my maps, this display specifically is the best upgrade that I have made to my table recently. But that's it, the list of my favorite D&D items. Let me know in the comments what your favorite D&D items are, and let me know if you have any of the ones that I have. Thanks for watching, and if you want to help me out, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Peace.